Delve into art, architecture, and design with Srijan Design Academy SDA and thrive in exams, college, and career. Welcome to SDA. Figure-based aptitude. Topic 21. Image rotation. Relevant for exams like NATA, JEE P2, NID, CEED, and UCEED.
Hello everyone. Our topic for today is image rotation. It is important from CEED perspective. Nowadays, you also find these questions in NATA and JEE and also in some of the NID examination. It is important and simple, but it is more confusing. Now, see what is happening in this topic. So, I have three images in front of you. Let me explain with this what is happening. So, if I write down A, B, C, D, then again I write down A, B, C, D, and the same thing goes on. So, A, B, C, and D. Now, one thing you need to understand, the position of B is always clockwise to that of A. Okay. Similarly, position of C is always clockwise to that of B. Now, this is a very important thing while solving these questions, that you need to understand that position of one thing is clockwise or is anti-clockwise to another given figure. Once you have understood this very concept, now it becomes very easy for us to solve these questions. So in any figure, you need to mark these ABCDs and identify whether it is in the clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction. But it has to be in that particular direction only. If it changes the direction, that means it is not the rotation of same figure, but it is a mirror image. Okay. So let's go to the question and see what happens. So here is our first question. The questions are, you have to find an image which is not the rotation. Okay, not the rotation. So let's see which one is not the rotation here. So we look at one figure at a time in order to get the quick answers. So first of all, let's look at the triangle only in all the questions. So if I mark 2 points, A point here and B point here, these two are closely related. So okay, this is correct in option A. This is again correct in option B. This is again correct in option C. And this is again correct in option D. Okay, this point and that point. This point here and that point there. Now let's see what happens to this figure. So what 2 points we can take? We can take this as A and this as B. Now A to B, it is always clockwise. Okay, so if I place A over here and B over here, is this clockwise? No, it is anti-clockwise. So therefore this is wrong. Okay, it's a simple understanding. In this case, what will happen? Our A is here and B is here. This is clockwise. Again, our A is here, our B is here. This is also clockwise. In this case, our A is here and B is here. What happens now? This is also anti-clockwise. Okay, so there are two options in which the position is anti-clockwise, and there are two figures in which the position is clockwise. So therefore, what is the answer in this case? Option B and option C are the correct ones. Okay. Now in these questions, you can have multiple correct also. So this is also very common in CEED and UCEED examination, and nowadays it is also becoming common in NID examination, NATA examination, and other similar examinations. Let's move to the next question. Okay, here is a figure. So now what will happen? Now, in this case, we have a figure with us. So we can pick two things. Okay, any two elements which looks very similar to us. So we can go with this A and we can go with this B. Okay, now these A and B are placed clockwise to each other. So first of all, let's figure out all the A's and B's in the given figure. So this is A, this is B, fine. This is your A, this is your B, looks fine again. This is your A, this is your B, and this is your A, and this is your B. Okay, so clockwise, anti-clockwise, clockwise, and clockwise. So in all the options it is clockwise. So wherever it is clockwise, check the figure whether it is looking similar or not. Okay, so this one is looking perfectly fine, no issues. This one is also looking perfectly fine, no issues. And this one is also looking perfectly fine, and then no issues. So okay, only this is the option which is wrong. So we have figured out the answer with minimal details. We just took two important points in that figure and we checked whether it is in clockwise direction to each other or not. Once we have done that, we have the answer with us. Okay, now the next question. Now in this case, what will happen? What kind of points we choose? So we choose a right angle triangle because that will be easier to understand. So we choose this as A, and okay, this point as B. So that makes a lot of sense. Now this is again clockwise. So if I find out this line, I have taken A, and this point, this corner, I have taken B. So okay, seems clockwise. This is A, this corner I have taken B, clockwise. This is A, this corner I have taken B, seems again clockwise. This I have taken A, and this corner as B. Now this is anti-clockwise. Okay, here this is clockwise, here this is clockwise, here this is clockwise. Now you can rotate the figures and you will identify that if you take this particular figure and rotate it, okay, it fits almost similar here. Okay, it fits almost similar here. And again, if you rotate it like this, you find that it fits almost similar here. So all the three options A, B, C are correct. So therefore, D is the only option which is wrong. Okay, wrong as in it is not a rotation of the image. So therefore, it will be a mirror image. Okay, let's move to the next question. Now, what will happen in this case? So we can choose any two colors. So for example, right now I'll take this as A and this as B. Okay, so I've chosen the violet color and the green color. Now these are in clockwise direction. Okay, so first of all, let me find out all the A's, because when looking at colors, it will be easier if we focus on one color at a time. Let's focus on all the B's. Okay, so this is clockwise, this is also clockwise, this is anti-clockwise, and this is clockwise. Okay, after B, you will get a black color. If three colors are satisfying the condition, then in that case, fourth color will automatically be in place. So therefore, A is the correct option, B is the correct option, and D is also the correct option. What is the wrong option? C. Okay, when I say wrong here, that means this is not the rotation, and therefore, while coming to the answer, this will be the correct answer. Okay, now let's move to another question. Okay, so in this question, now what we do? So first of all, we need to pick something which is easier to understand. So let me take this as A because it has only one figure here. And we can take this as B because again, this also has only one figure here. So, okay, in all the options, first of all, mark the A. So A is here, A is here, A is here, and A is here. Similarly, B is here. Okay, looks fine. B is here. So again, it goes clockwise, B is here. So this also goes clockwise, and B is here. So this is also clockwise. That means all the options are correct. Okay, when all the options are correct, what else you need to check? You need to check whether the composition of image is correct or not, because there may be some sort of missing. So okay, in option A, everything else is looking fine. In option B, everything else is looking fine. So how you can find out? Here you have 3 elements, here you have 2 elements, then again you have 2 elements, and then you have 2. So 3, 2, 2, 2. Okay, so 3 elements, 2 elements, 2 elements, and 2 elements. So it looks fine. In this case, A to B, 3, 2, 2, 2. So in this case, what happens? The answer is none of the above. So all the figures are the correct rotation of the given figure. Okay, so the answer will be none in this case. Okay, this is a question. You all do it by yourself. Looks pretty complicated, but again, it's very simple. You just need to identify 2 key points and find the correct rotation. Okay, answer in the comments. I'll provide the answer in the next week. Let's move to another question. Okay, here is an image. Now let's see what we can do. So we can mark this as A, we can mark this as B. Similarly, mark A's and B's everywhere. Okay, once we have marked A and B, it is pretty much clear this is anti-clockwise. Therefore, this is not the correct rotation, and therefore this is the correct answer. Okay, Now let's move to the next question. Okay, how do we go about such questions which have only dots or something? So first of all, what you need to do, you need to identify two key parameters, okay, that are easier to understand. And once you have identified two key parameters, then you can go about these kind of questions. So how do we identify? Maybe we take something which is looking very much different. So we can pick these 3 points and we can pick these 3 points. Now, this combination of 3 points becomes A and this combination of 3 points here becomes B. Okay. Now, this is easier to understand. So everywhere, why I have taken 3 and 3? Because you can find other two figures are also pretty much similar. So that's why it becomes very much important that you identify these figures in combination. So 3 and 3. This is your A and this is your B. 3 and 3. This is your A and this is your B. So why I'm doing this, you'll understand in a bit. Now, once we have marked all these positions, just by looking at A and B, I cannot identify the figure because I have two A's, two positions which are almost similar. Okay, so therefore I need to go for something else also, and that I can call C and D. So in this case, I mark this thing here, and that I call C, and this thing here which I call D. Now, once I have C and D with me, what will happen now? So the thing is clear that A and B are close to each other. Also, B and C are close to each other. So instead of finding A and B, I rather go for C and D because those are separated from each other. So in this case, if I call this C, I cannot call that D, okay, because it is nearby. So therefore, I know this is the actual C and this is D. Okay, so now it is clear what is C and D. Similarly, this becomes my C and that becomes my D. So now this is also not A, this is your C and that is your D. And similarly, this is your C and that is your D. Now, once we have identified that, you will identify this is clockwise rotation, similar to this one. This is also a clockwise rotation. This one is also clockwise rotation. Whereas in this case, this is an anti-clockwise rotation. So this option here is wrong, and therefore this is the correct answer. So when you have only dots, you need to break the figure into multiple parts. Like I had done, I have broken it into A, B, C, D. Now these A, B, C, Ds are giving me a possibility, but when I looked at closely, figure A and figure C were close to each other and having a similar position with B. So therefore it became more and more confusing. So therefore I chose another option, that is C and D. Why I did that? Because in most of the questions, while you are sitting in the examination, you will face such problem. So I'm just giving you an option that how a confusion may arise and how you need to resolve it. Okay, I hope everyone is clear about it. Let's move to the next question. Okay, this is also the last question. So I hope all of you by now have understood how to solve these questions. So the last question, which I have told you, and this question, answer in the comments. I'll provide the answer in the next week. There's one simple key. First of all, you need to identify 2 points A and B. If you're not able to find 2 points A and B, better go for A, B, and C and identify their pattern, that they are in clockwise rotation to each other or anti-clockwise to each other. Once you have identified that, you mark the same points in the answer figure and identify whether they are in clockwise or anti-clockwise. If they're sharing the same direction as the question figure, that means your answer is correct. Otherwise, your answer is wrong and you need to revisit it. Thank you. Remain connected with us.
To buy our detailed study material online, WhatsApp us on 70420646648 or ping us on Instagram. For more questions, drop a comment on our video. Subscribe us to Thrive in Exams, College, and Career.